Morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. It is May 22nd. Good morning and welcome to my channel. This market is, like I said all week, is waiting for NVDA. A whole lot of nothing going on. We go up, we go down. Market's moving weird. Lower volume. Actually, this morning volume picked up a little bit. Today we have FOMC minutes coming out at 2 p.m. That's about it. You have crude inventories at 10:30. The whole market is waiting for this NVIDIA earnings and probably waiting for a big beat. If they match expectations or just beat them a little, who knows what the market's going to do with that information. And the market right now, ES in particular, is an ultimate balance. So whenever you're in ultimate balance, which is the most traded price of the month and the week are equal, that means that the most contracts have traded at one price. Okay, shorts and longs are together. A big move is about to happen. And the longer you stay in that ultimate balance, the bigger the move is going to happen. All right, we'll get into that later. Without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the market, along with anchor VWAPs, gamma exposure levels, supply and demand, and the most traded price of the year, the rolling month, the rolling week, and the previous day. That just helps me look at the market without a bias and see who's in control. Okay, and I'll show you today. And it doesn't mean I can't see this stuff just on candlesticks, because obviously I can. It's just easier for me to see it with these certain, I wouldn't call them indicators all the time, but with these certain levels on my chart. It just puts it right out there in my face. Could I look at a candlestick chart and see the same thing? Now I could, but why have to look into it like that when I can just easily see it on my chart right away, right? So every day I get on here at 8:10 a.m. and then I talk about news. We go over some daily charts and the spies and the Qs. We also talk about leaders and laggards, possible earnings, economic news, and 8:30 is around where I give possible trade scenarios, long and shorts, and basically show you how I analyze the market with my methodology of analyzing the market. All right. It's just my foundation. It's how I look at the market. All right. Hopefully, you can get something out of this. I generally use, like I said, market profile and volume profile. They look weird at first if you're not familiar with it, but then really it's not that hard. It's just a different way to look at the market, and it structures it in a way that it's just easy to see. Okay. So, like I said, 8:30 a.m. I usually go over scenarios, what I can see happen in the market. Like I said, these last couple of weeks have been kind of weird. Volume's been lower. We've had earnings, people waiting for information, headline risk, Fed speak. It's just today's the first day without really Fed speak, but you have the minutes come out at 2 o'clock. All right, so hopefully you can subscribe, set an alert, and you can join me every day at 8:10 a.m. And if you enjoy my content, give me a thumbs up. Give me 1 second here. Of course, I made a mistake here. Let's see if I can. Of course, you can follow me on. Oh boy, that's not what I wanted to do here. I have to fix that. Sorry about that. All right. Anyway, let's just get right into the futures market. I just literally made a mistake on OBS, so I have to fix that later. Anyway, let's get into futures watch list. And let's see what's moving here. Okay, you got the VIX up 2.7%, still at 12. It's not really matter much. Not a lot of fear. Bitcoin's up 1.28%. The dollar is up 0.19. Ether's up 0.16. 10-year yield will report at 8.20, and that should rise with 30-year bonds being sold this morning. Nasdaq's down 0.06, ES down 0.19. The Dow's down 0.22. 30-year bonds, like I said, down 0.37. Russell down 0.39. Gold down 0.54. Crude is down 1%. Silver is down 1%. That's what's going on in futures. Like I said, we have NVDA reporting earnings after the close. Snowflake as well. Let's look at the Mag 7 Plus. This morning, it's a little bit of a muted leader. Coinbase is up 0.54. AMD up 0.41. Meta's up 0.25. Microsoft's flat. Laggard. We got Google down 0.62. Baba down 1.57. Tesla is down 1.88. I saw Tesla, even though it kind of made a move yesterday, they just fell short in sales. I have to look at that again. Let me just see here real quickly. Yeah, Tesla sales in Europe fall to a 15-month low. This came out at 6:29 a.m. It says Tesla Inc. got off the sluggish start to the second quarter in Europe, where Chief Executive Officer Elon Musk was expecting a much better showing. So that is what was going on in Tesla today. So market doesn't not really liking that, even after it had a nice little move. All right. So moving on to top sector stocks. We got Qualcomm down, up 0.67, and then you only have Eli Lilly. That's not much of a leader. Laggards, you got Goldman Sachs, Walmart, Cat, Costco. Now the only reason Walmart and Costco are a little down is Target reported earnings, and that's retail. So that's having sympathy negative effect on these particular stocks. Okay. Look at the swing trade list. Let's see who's leading here. Williams Sonoma reported earnings, and they must have beat. So they're up 6.56. Tandem Diabetes up 3.61. Believe they got an upgrade. Shopify got an upgrade. That's up 3%. What is it? Taiwan Semiconductor up 1.85. GameStop up 1.4. Bitcoin ETF is up 1%. All right. That's really what's leading there. Let's see who's lagging. Target reported earnings were not good, so they are down 7.63%. Lululemon, did they report earnings? Let's see here. Earnings are on 6.5. So UBS cuts Lululemon Athletica. Okay, so they got a price target cut. Let's see, GDXJ. It's a gold stock. Gold junior miner stock. Garmin down 1%. Affirm down 1.15. AstraZeneca down 1%. So that's what's going on there. Okay, let's move on to sectors. So the leader this morning is semiconductors, up 0.78%. Usually that means risk on in the markets when semis are leading, right? Now that's the only thing that's really moving this morning. Okay. Energy's down 0.1. Let's see. Financials down 0.14. Staples down 0.18. Discretionary is down 0.2. Okay. That's what's going on with the top sector stocks. All right. I'm sorry. With sectors. Sorry about that. All right. I think we can get into some news, some economic calendar today. Let's do that. All right. So today we have existing home sales at 10 a.m. Existing home sales at 10 a.m. You might get a little pop in the market at 10 a.m. I wouldn't really initiate a trade right then and there because you could get whipped out at 10 a.m. with existing home sales. You have crude inventories at 10:30. That usually moves crude pretty good. So be on the lookout for that if anybody is interested in crude. So And then tomorrow there's jobless claims, Chicago Fed, and new home sales at 10 a.m. and Fed Bostic. Okay. Now looking at some news, Target. All right, Target stock fell 7.6% after the retail forecast current quarter comparable sales and profit are largely below expectations after weak discretionary spending dented its first quarter results. Okay. And NVDA stock fell 0.1, steadying ahead of the tech giants quarter. Let's see, Urban Outfitters stock rose 1.7%. Toll Brothers stock rose 1.1 after the house builder raised its full year delivery guidance. Lululemon stock dropped 3.9 after the athletic apparel retailer announced the departure of chief product officer. Okay. Amazon stock fell 0.3 after the tech giant announced that its cloud computing unit AWS will invest around 17 billion in data centers in northern Spain. All right. And PDT, I believe that's Pinduoduo, stock rose 7.3 at the company beat first quarter revenue estimates. That's what's going on there. All right. Now, in the juice, yesterday, looks like Fed Waller said if the data warrants, we could consider a cut at the end of the year. That was at 1 o'clock. That was really the only thing that really would move the market. Let's see. Let's go to updates and upgrades and downgrades here. Actually, let's go to this news here. Again, Target posted weak results. A shopper pullback. Let's see. Citi fined 79 million by UK regulators over trading failures. Wow. All right. Let's see. Microsoft ties up the UAE-based AI firm to invest 1 billion in Kenya data center. All right. We just saw about the Spain and Amazon. Talked about Target already. Just trying to see anything else here. So of course you got Costco, got the target price raised. Dell, Macy's got its target price raised. All right, that's about it there. I mean, as far as upgrades, downgrades, if we go with upgrades, I've talked about a Kraft Heinz. Let's see who else. Prudential, Shopify, Tandem Diabetes. That's the upgrades, downgrades. We got, just trying to see, like I said, stuff that Garmin, downgrade. Hims, downgrade. That's really it there. Let's see. Raised target. All right, you got Chipotle, target raised. Tandem Diabetes, target raised. Urban Outfitters, target raise. And lower target, AutoZone. Okay. Let's see, initiate coverage. Wait, nothing really here special to talk about here. Okay, we can move on to the earnings, which we already talked about. But let's see who reported earnings before the open today. And we already talked about Toll Brothers reported at the close. Urban Outfitters talked about that. Target, we already talked about that. TJ Maxx reported this morning. Petco this morning. Williams Snow we talked about. But after the close today, NVIDIA, Snowflake. Okay, NVIDIA, Snowflake. That's all the market's going to care about. Okay. Now let's go over to the daily charts. We're going to just see the malaise here in this market. All right. We're in the range, folks. We're just pushing in this range. What did we do yesterday? Went right up to that weekly highs, like I said yesterday. Remember, and then we sold off. Well, yesterday we were down here, previous day's lows, and closed at the weekly high. So this market is telling you it's just waiting for NVIDIA. Currently at 530.50. We're right in the middle of the range of yesterday. Okay. To look at this in futures, you'll see that. Right? So here's yesterday's range. That's where we're at right now. You can see in the futures as well, there's last week's highs. Just keep hitting its head against it. Boom, boom, boom. Waiting for NVIDIA. All right. So any price movement is really just an illusion, and it's really just waiting for NVIDIA. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Now, as far as the Qs, not much in a perfect range. You're getting a lot higher lows here. You're not really moving sideways like the SPY is. Okay, you got higher low, higher low, higher low. You made a new low yesterday. You're over last week's high. So the Qs are moving higher. They're not moving sideways. Okay, but like I said, ES is in a big ultimate balance right now. All right, that's the Qs. Let's look at the futures and Qs. Okay, so in futures, you see it's holding last week's highs, right? But we're right here. We're right at yesterday's close about. Okay, so holding last week's highs, right? In the SPY and the ES, they're keep hitting their head against resistance of last week's highs. So a little bit of a difference there. Okay. As far as the Qs, yeah, that's about it. We're going to move on to the triple-headed monster, and let's see what that 10-year yield is looking like here. So the 10-year yield is, like I said, almost up a percent. Look at the yields. Up, up, up. Had a little down day. Look, gapping up today. So is this going to become the new swing low and we drop, or do you take out this swing high here? That's really what's going to happen here. Do you break this little trend lower and go higher? That will put weight on the markets. So it's very interesting. 10-year yield is rising, right? Now, if we come over to the dollar is rising today as well. Okay, this usually doesn't bode well for markets. However, NVIDIA earnings is really what's going to come up. But this right now, currently, usually puts a little pressure on commodities and equities, okay? Especially the Russell. All right, so let's look at the VIX, which has no fear in it. Remember, folks, this is 30 days out of fear. This is 30 days out. We're just at really low levels of volatility, okay? Really nothing to see there unless NVIDIA misses earnings or the market somehow just doesn't like what NVIDIA says, right? That's really it. All right, now it's time for market profile. Okay, volume profile. Boom. There we are. Okay. Now, what I want to show. Okay, what I want to show. And we'll look at the structure, right? All right, so here's the market profile and volume profile. All right, so let's look at our little rolling week profile. So we got little excess down here, and then you got value area. Here's the value area. It's 70% of the trade. And then we got a little distribution here and a little bit of excess here. Oh, why is it a little bit excess? Because, wow, that 53.50, 53.49 has been resistance multiple times in the market. Market can't seem to break that, right? Why? Because people are waiting for NVIDIA, right? So that is a very key area, okay? That is a very, very key area, 53.49 in the futures, okay? Now, the big thing here is the most traded price of the month and the week are equal. What's that price? 53.33. This price right here. That has been the most traded price of the last 30 days and the last week. Where is, no shocker here, where's price now? Right here. Okay, so really what we have is balance, ultimate balance, and we have this little 53.49, and we have this 52, call it 52, 53.23 little area here that the market's been trading in. Okay. Now, you're not at a great area here because you're in the middle of this congestion. That's not a great area to be in. Okay. Not you're just at yesterday's most traded price and the most traded price of the week and the month. Everybody's trading there. That's what that means. Everybody is initiating positions there. Well, I shouldn't say initiating, or just trading the most trades that happened here in the last month, the week, and yesterday. Okay, that's deemed the fairest price in the market right now until we break out. So ultimate balance just means that we're going to make a big move, right? And the market always seems to do this right in time for FOMC, right in time for CPI, right in time for, well, guess what? What's the market going to do after the close today? NVDA earnings. So this is setting up for people to be in pain. If everybody's traded this price, if the market rips up, everybody who was short there gets hurt, right? If the NVIDIA disappoints or does something where the market doesn't like it, you're going to go like that. You're going to break out. It's not if is it going to break out, it's just a matter of when. Nobody knows the timing, but this is certainly, NVIDIA is probably going to do something with the market, okay? This is how it works. Now, you're not in a great place right now. Now, usually when you're in this area, okay, it's called the inside out trade. We are going to test this side or this side today. You're going to test one of those sides. Does it break? I would say unlikely doing that NVIDIA, right? That big question mark of what's going to happen. So what happens when you're in balance? Okay, if you're long from here, see what happens here? If you're long from here and you come up here, what happens? Well, then people short. Well, what happens when you come back down here? Well, people go long. And what happens when you come back here? Well, people start to sell again, right? So if this really follows the trend here, you probably could find yourself here, and then the market could go back here, right? That's really all you're looking at. So you're in balance. Okay, now you do have a nuance here. There is a nuance. Even though you're in balance, like I said, this is not the area. The trade is not great, but right here you have the overnight low with this huge level. All right, now that becomes a weak low, right? Becomes a weak low. Okay, because everybody, look, market opened here. That's the only short activity yesterday, and then the market closed all the way up here. So you have longs from here. Okay, so if, and the most trades happened here yesterday, right? So if this market rips through here, holds, you're probably going to test this side of balance. And then what happens? People cover, and then you go the other way. Okay, so let's get into some scenarios here. It's very easy today. This is balance rules. Okay, and you fade the edges until it doesn't work anymore. Because look what happens in the ES. Let's just say this is the first time this was made up here, right? And the market sold off, right? Came down here, went up there again, sold off, went up there again. Look, selling off. That's what the market's telling you. If we come down here, do we get bought up, right? So it's pretty simple. And there's the demand zone here. Okay, so like today, like I just said, if this market happens to test this little level down here, it could do this, could be a little bear trap, but if it doesn't, guess what we're doing? Or at least going back to here and then trying to probably test this area. That's how simple this really is today. And you really have to wait, because price action, boy, can that fool you sometimes? Boy, can it fool you. I'm going to be the first to admit it to you that price can really fool you. Because if price goes like this, boom, and you're like, oh my God, we're breaking out. Oh my God, and then it does that. and then higher low, higher low, higher low, and then all of a sudden all the shorts from here have to cover, right? But sometimes watching it, it can fool you, right? So that's what I see for a bullish case right now. Okay, it's just balance. You fade the edges here, you get long here. That's really how simple that is. All right, now conversely, what do you think is going to happen on the short side? Now you do have 4 instances of the market coming up to this area, right? You have 3 instances to the market testing this low. Okay, so right here is that weak low. Now, low hanging fruit, what could happen? The market could just push really quickly to this area. And if you want to get a quick one in, that probably could happen. Okay. We also, what could happen is you try to push down into here and it does go like this, and then the market does push up into this area. Now, if this area, again, even if you do this and then we start to come in, do lower high, well, you're going to test this area. And if you break that area, you're going to test the bottom of this range. And like I said, the market, can it happen? Could we break out today? Of course. Probability? No. NVDA reports after the close. You don't want to be caught too much with your pants down when NVIDIA reports, okay? You don't want to put too much risk on. So that's what I see with the market. Now, that's the ES, right? We just talked about the ES and ultimate balance. Well, the Qs are not. I just saw crude must be pushing up higher right now. So crude is not. I'm sorry. ES and NASDAQ are not doing the same things. Okay, so that was your ES scenarios, which is pretty easy. Okay, now if we look at the NASDAQ, right? See, it's not the same. This is not the same. You can see it structurally, it's not. Profile's different, right? The most traded price of the month is not moved up here. All right, it's still lower. Where is it? I can show you down here. It's all the way down there at 182 still. Hasn't moved up yet. It could, but not yet. Okay, so that just tells you the difference of what they're doing, right? So let's look at this profile together. Here you got excess lower. Then you got value area. 70% of the trade in the last 5 days has happened right there. And then you got this little excess that just happened in the overnight session right here. Right there. Okay. So price is here. Right. You can see what the market's doing here. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. This low could not be taken out here, and then higher low. Okay, so it's moving up. Now, what did I say yesterday? This didn't really set up as a trade because it was so quick, but I said with single prints, if in this demand zone, I said if you can't take that out, that's bullish. And then what happened? The market just went up. It wasn't an easy move up, but it did it, right? Okay, so we're above the most traded price of the week, which is 187.50. You're holding above that. See, it's totally different in the ES. ES, you have that nice balance area. The NASDAQ does not have that. Okay. Okay, now let's look at yesterday. You don't have great excess at the highs here. Okay. You closed here. Most traded price of the week and yesterday's here. All right. Now, if there was somebody literally chatting with me, I would ask them, what do you think this is? It's a weak low. All right, you got the overnight lows lining up with the most traded price of the week and the most traded price of yesterday. So the job of the bulls is to defend that. You have a nice demand zone as well right here. So the job as the bulls is to defend that level. You do have a weak low here at 186.81 now. That's yesterday's low and the previous overnight session's low with single prints here. So it is susceptible to still be cleaned. However, when it gets defended, that's bullish like it did yesterday, like it did here. Okay, market's just got bullish momentum to it. All right, so we got the weak low here. This is a bull bear line basically. Got a little excess in the overnight. Now, one little key here, one little tip here is whenever you have overnight high, that's the high, because this is technically an all-time high in the overnight. Generally speaking, that is not going to be the high. An all-time high is usually not set in the overnight session. So I would guess most likely we come up and make at least tag these overnight highs in the real-time trading hours. I would guess that we do that. Now, here's a stat. Usually around 97% of all sessions touch the overnight high or the overnight low. That's another stat. So it makes it highly likely that, like I just said, all-time highs are usually not secure with overnight highs. Okay? So it's kind of formulating maybe a little plan. Okay? So what currently prices here? You got yesterday's highs, overnight lows, yesterday's lows. So that's a weak low here. Okay, but remember, this is the big level here, 187.50, right here. Okay, so what could I see happening? Let's get into the scenarios here. All right, so we are going to go for a bullish scenario here. All right, so if I'm a bull and I'm waiting, what I would want to see is a push up, make new all-time highs, hit the overnight high, right? You do have supply here, so that might not even, you might just touch the overnight highs, but if you start coming through the open, making lower high, I want to point something out. The most traded price of the overnight is right here. That is longs. So if you cut through that, okay, if you cut through that, well, overnight hands are weak. What are you going to do? Got thin volume here in the overnight. You're probably going to test this area right here. You got the week to date anchored VWAP right here. This is your area to be like, what does the bulls do? Does it defend it? And does it make a move? Now, this could be people going, NVIDIA is going higher, and you could make new highs. Okay? Now, it's really all I'd be interested in. Now, the only other thing I'm possibly interested in, let's say the market does rip through here, comes down here into this weak low, and you think here, and that the market could rip up to here with NVIDIA coming. That's the things I see for the bulls. Now, as far as the bears, you can just take that same scenario I just said. Okay, if you're a bear, all right, let's go my game plan. Overnight highs are not usually all-time highs. You go here, you do lower high, you go through the open, you go through this most traded price of the overnight. You're going to get movement from that. You got this weak volume here. You could rip down. Now, this is the demand zone. So if you rip through that demand zone and now you're hitting this weak low, okay, this is the bull bear line. Bulls have to defend this. Well, if they don't, boom, and they start holding, accepting prices lower, this is not, should not be supportive either. You're going to go rip down, and you could really take out these lows. Rip down here. There's single prints here. It's also a demand zone here, and that could be the move. Now, if a really weak market, this could really go lower, but like probability wise, you probably get a bounce here, waiting for NVIDIA. Okay, that's really what I'm seeing today. Okay, so I kind of like that too. So really just have to wait, see how the market plays out today. All right. We can really quickly check the volume today. The volume actually is a little better. It was. I take that back. I'll show you the relative volume right now, but it was better earlier. There was a moment of high volume for a second, but here's the relative volume. We're 60% of trading volume, which means 100 would be normal. We're only 60% of it. I think I have it on a 20-day average. We're only 60% in the ES and only 59% in the NASDAQ. So that means that volume is low. Volume is low. If you look at crude, crude is at 110%. So just look at the difference in crude. Crude has better volume, better relative volume than the NASDAQ. All right. That would be it for me today. I hope everybody enjoyed that analysis. Like I said, I'm really trying to find my edge in these markets when it's not a lot there. I mean, there's low volume, low volatility, people waiting for earnings. Yesterday, this market moved very weird, not typical. So I might not even have a trade today. I'm really going to wait for something has to happen to really for me to be interested, because otherwise most of the stuff will probably happen after the market with NVDA. So that's about it. All right. So please subscribe and set an alert if you haven't already. I don't know why that's not working, but let's try it again. There you go. All right. And of course, if you enjoy my content, please give me a like, a thumbs up. Okay? All right, everybody. Have a great day. And I'll see everybody tomorrow.